I've yet to see too many of the brilliant digital companies that exist be bought by the big networks and actually thrive as a result of it. Perhaps AKQA is an exception, but that's still early days. You know, Digitas, perhaps, you know, it has changed as a business. And I won't go into any more details, but there are many brilliant independents in the marketplace that I worry about the consolidation of the big groups.
Okay. Can I stop you there, Mark?
And
maybe, Dominic, maybe if you could say your bit, but maybe if you could lead on from that initial challenge. Are there examples of successful digital native agencies being subsumed into wider holding groups?
Yeah, thanks. Look, hi everyone. I think that, I mean, in general, we haven't acquired so many digital native agencies within Group M recently. That hasn't been so much our strategy to do that, so it's kind of difficult to comment on that. But I think there is a broader challenge there that I agree with about, which for me is the question, the key question around consolidation is, what is the benefit of consolidation? What is the benefit ultimately for clients? You know, because certainly on the marketing services side, we're talking about client-driven businesses. I'll maybe touch on consolidation on the media owner side in a second, but you know, consolidation to me should be about driving benefits for clients. Otherwise, you know, why are we doing it? And ultimately as well, to deliver benefits for clients, you know, we need the best talent working for us, and we need a more diverse skill set within that talent. And so creating the right environment for that talent to grow and develop is crucial, because ultimately, you know, acquiring companies is fine, but if that talent disappears, there won't be a business left. And you might buy the best possible technology company, but again, it needs to stay ahead of the game. You know, most of the companies we buy is to get us further ahead with where we want to get to. So I think, you know, people talk a lot about consolidation, companies coming together being bigger, but bigger's no good unless it drives some sort of benefit. And I think those benefits are changing over time. As the world's digitizing fast, I think we see that we need different sort of skills, as I said before. We need more the ability to leverage technology. You know, technology is not in the DNA of most marketing services companies. And now that's a key factor in our development for the future. And we need different sorts of people who can help us, you know, manage that technology, build that technology in some areas. So I think trying to deal with all those issues is a new challenge for us. And, you know, we've been quite careful as a group in how we've, I guess, managed consolidation. I should say, I mean, we talk about consolidation as if it's a new issue. In marketing services, that's been an issue for years, I think. There was always this sort of cycle of startup companies starting off, maybe creative agencies, maybe media agencies, growing fast, and ultimately, for different reasons, perhaps selling out to larger companies, which have now evolved to become larger groups, bigger or smaller. And so, obviously, the consolidation now that's happening more recently in the market is massive consolidation, because it's bigger companies coming together, and that creates a different set of challenges, I think. You know, we started consolidating different media businesses within WPP a long time ago, and then over time, Group M was established to sort of help manage that and help try and realize the benefits of that. And we've been quite careful in how to do that rather than doing too much too quickly. And it's even now, frighteningly already, 7 years since we set up local and regional Group M operations to help manage that. And we're still in a process of driving that change and trying to deliver the benefits. But it's very much focused on what is the benefit for clients at the end of the day. So I think it's just worth mentioning as well the kind of consolidation on the media owner side as well, because I think it's no coincidence that that's going on at the same time, perhaps for slightly different reasons. And maybe there's just a natural gravitation now that with the pressures on all the business around us and with the pressure on advertisers and just local businesses or international businesses wanting more value out of the marketplace, wanting more creative solutions, it's kind of driven us to this situation. And I suppose partly perhaps as a defensive measure within that environment, you've got a situation now where, media have consolidated, more traditional and new. And new, of course, are probably outpacing and becoming, you know, the very powerful players in the market, and there's a natural gravitation to large marketing services companies dealing with those players. The key, again, is what's the benefit of that? At the end of the day, what will be the benefit? Because I think the danger as well on the marketing services side is that there will always be certain talent that want to create new businesses, particularly on the creative side. And I think maybe this is less an issue for media agencies and more for the creative side of the business. But, there's not an obvious benefit of consolidation around the more creative businesses. So that's a watch out, I guess, for overall consolidation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that consolidation in one form or another has gone on for years, but it's for scale, isn't it? Which we're seeing now. That's what. So as I pass over to you, Alfonso, I mean, obviously you're the smallest of these still very large marketing holding groups. How do you adapt and how do you respond to what's going on at Publicis, Omnicom, and WPP?
First of all, I mean, we are talking about something that is still subject to be approved by the shareholders and by the regulatory authorities from the countries or unions. Look, after a few weeks, I'm still astonished and surprised about this operation because I don't see the rationale. Honestly, from the market point of view, I don't see the rationale. I cannot see the rationale from the financial point of view.
So this is Publicis Omnicom we're talking now, just to be clear.
I understand
so
the rationale.
Deal, you don't see any rational reason.
I cannot see it because I agree with Dominic. I mean, if we understand that technology will be the winner or the key driver, and I'm not going to talk here about technology because the audience knows much better than I do. If the technology is going to be the driver, and for me, in the digital world, that scale is not fundamental. It's fundamental in the mass media, but not in the digital world. For me, in the digital world, the key thing is to be more clever, more intelligent than someone else. So the key drivers for the future, it's technology plus talent, but not volume. So I don't see the rationale in terms of
that's a good point, isn't it? I mean, what are the benefits of such mass consolidation? Can
I answer one thing? I'd just say, because I don't necessarily agree with Alfonso about the problems with the merger or planned consolidation at all. I don't have necessarily any problems with it. But what I would say is I really see that certainly in the 7 years I've been at Google, that technology has probably ambushed advertising, and it's sort of overtaken advertising. And advertising perhaps possibly been left in this conservative slumber for a while, and that now technology is the wunderkind. Yeah. And actually, I completely agree with Alfonso, who says it's technology and talent is the way of the future. And I see that consolidation ultimately adds benefit if you can take out the wasted energy that's put into data measurement, data collection, data reporting, and having unified technology throughout an agency's organisation, however large that organisation is, allows the agencies, both media and creative, to do what they should be doing more of, which is thinking, strategizing, talent, being creative in media, creative in content generation. And I think any merger that allows for the back room effectively to get out the way, and whether that's programmatic buying, whether that's just data collection, whether that's insight, but allows for strategists and planners to really be awesome at their job, then that gives the industry a whole reason why we can change the way that fee structures are even considered with clients, and they can't start to pay for real work as opposed to commoditized buying.
So how does that sound to you, Dominic? You guys are in the back room doing the grunt work with the programmatic buying and such like, and you let the strategists and planners do their bit at front of shop. Is that?
No, but look, in our business, we need to do all those things, and we definitely need to take out the less value-added part of the process. But I think that, and I agree, as I said earlier, that we need to create the right environment for the right talent to thrive. I think where I disagree with Alfonso, but we kind of wouldn't we, is that I think there are benefits of scale. I wouldn't say it's just about volume. I think kind of the old world sometimes was about volume, and I think in the media market we work in internationally, there are some benefits of volume in some markets, quite obviously, and they're very tangible. But I do think the future is less about volume, but it is potentially still about scale, and scale in the broadest sense. So that's scale can give you the ability to invest. It can give you the ability to attract more talent, maybe more diverse talent, maybe better talent, if you do it right. But it is crucial about how you do it. And I think that's the point about these other consolidations. We don't know what they're going to do. And we've got our strategy for trying to get the benefits of scale, but it's really important, as I said before, that you can still attract the right people, keep the good people that you've brought in, either you've hired or acquired with companies, and develop them. Because really, even if we're going to have a lot more technology in our business, and we do now than we did yesterday, it's still driven by people. Because really, I still believe that the value we can create for clients is going to be people that deliver that. Maybe with the best technology, smart technology, but sometimes that technology will be from outside anyway. We're not going to control every element of the technology food chain, certainly within our group. So we need the best possible people. And still within our media agencies, we need more creative people, I'd say, than we needed in the older environment. We need to react to adaptive marketing that's going on, where we need to be quicker than ever. So balancing those, of course, isn't easy. But I'd say the best of both worlds must be that you have scale as well, because scale allows you to do things that I think it's much harder to do without scale.
I don't disagree. I mean, the scale is important. But I mean, scale on the consolidation we are talking about between consolidated policies and Omnicom is a different thing. I think that you already have enough scale, and I think we already have enough scale to do what we want to do. But the consolidation of this operation, I mean, I don't want to think about what is going on inside Publicis or Omnicom agency right now. I mean, there would be the work atmosphere must be amazing. I mean, it will be just about politics. I mean, I promise I would not like to be there right now. And that probably could be a good opportunity for this gentleman and myself, because I mean, some trouble will come from there, no? But it's and also, I mean, they have put in over the table a 500 million cost saving without layoffs. I mean, that's a miracle. No, if they do it, it's something to start to believe in them. So it's very difficult for me to understand again what's the rationale of this operation. Besides that, for the shareholders, seems a nice financial operation. Because clients, of course, they would like good prices, but they like agility, they like facility, and they don't like bureaucracy. I mean, the volume and the scale of that group, I mean, sorry, but it's not.
So it's also interesting to know that even from a shareholder point of view at the moment, since an initial rise, actually both Publicis Group and Omnicom shares are down about 7% since the deal was announced. WPP's actually up, which is interesting. But maybe that's because we don't know any real details about how they're going to knit it all together yet. And unfortunately, we don't have anyone allowed to speak yet who can shed some light, but I'm sure it's coming from Publicis Omnicom. So Havas, are they big enough to compete in it? You say scale is still, it's not all about scale, but are you big enough to compete on the global stage?
I mean, thank God we are competing, and thank God we are gaining more and more global clients, something that in the past we were not, was not our main target. Our main target was to gain local clients. Now, for the last year, has been focusing in global clients, and we've been happily successful about global clients. If you say if we are big enough to have the same scale as Google, no, we don't. But that we are not in the same battlefield. I mean, but if we have enough scale to compete against Group M or to compete against any other, of course, that we've been doing for the last years. And we're very happy with our scale, because also our scale gives us a flexibility and an agility that we understand that in this world is very important.
So, Dominic, Havas have just recently streamlined into two core divisions, Havas Worldwide and Havas Media. Really simple for everyone to understand, both internally and externally. Do you worry now about the agility and the speed with which they're able to mobilise their resources?
That's an easy question.
No, I don't worry. I think we have to focus on, we have a very clear plan. We have, I think, a very aligned plan within our business of where we're going and where we're trying to go and what we're trying to achieve. And I think if we do that, we don't need to worry about our direct competition and what they're doing. It is crucial that we're quick as well. Even though we're a bigger organisation and we do have more scale, We want both. We need to be quick as well. And obviously, sometimes there could be challenges with that. But I think we've been very careful about how we've put the group together. Our structure is very aligned between our media agencies and our Group M management. And our strategy now, particularly with these other things happening around us, which will no doubt distract other people and our competition, I think that creates even more opportunity. And we're trying to obviously turn it to our advantage, where we can move even quicker, and take advantage of the market opportunities, whether it's around some of their talent, which might be destabilized, or clients, etc. But that's an ongoing job, and it's really crucial that you bring people together, because it is a people business. Again, they've talked about putting these businesses together, but no one's talked, apart from at the very top level, about who's going to do what and how that's going to work. And I think that is crucial in our business, because we're all very human. We want to know what we're going to be doing, and that we're going to have fun and hopefully develop as part of it.
Mark, in this new global data-driven world, increasingly digital space, are you aware that increasingly some of the services you offer overlaps with some of the services WPP can offer, and some of the services the other holding groups will offer? So as they consolidate and become bigger, are you concerned in any way that actually you're going to find yourself competing against people who, at least when it comes to headcount, are actually bigger than Google?
No. From my point of view, I think what we've touched on, technology and talent, I think answers that question. At the root of it, people still buy from people, and it's the talent that is what, in theory, clients should be paying the agencies for. I think where we're still not moving fast enough is getting a unified technology platform throughout an agency or an agency group, and that's arguably where Dominic and Xaxis are trying to get a unified system where ultimately you have a single view of the consumer, and a single view of the consumer's journey, both on and offline. That's where we're getting to, and whether that technology is third-party technology from a Google or from anyone else, or created in-house within the agency groups. That's for the agency to decide. That's for the agency to decide and their clients to decide whether it is the best in market, or whether it's the best in market to do the right job with all the overlays. From my point of view, obviously, we would argue that we've got a few thousand engineers who are quite talented, and we're building some very top of market systems that any agency, however large or small, and that's the difference between us and others, is that any agency, from the startups and the independent agency sector that I talked about earlier, through to WPP or Havas or Omnicom Publicis, anyone can use that technology. It's then what they do with it that matters. So I've spoken to a number of CEOs over the years that have said they're fed up spanking money up against the wall on technology, that they're a market services company, they're not a technology company. From my point of view, I'd obviously say leave the technology to the technology companies and use your skills in understanding the data, taking the data, understanding the audiences, your skills in marketing to take the insight from that and build out the stories and the creativity that your clients want for their brands.
What do you think to that, Dominic? And also, if you have any questions in the audience, do put your hand up and we'll try and get a microphone to you. But what do you think to that idea? Leave the tech to the technology companies.
Well, I think it's quite as simple as that. Look, there's no doubt. I mean, our DNAs are different, and Google's come from the end of being a technology company and a lot of an engineering company, and we're a marketing services group. But I think that our strategy is absolutely, as I said before, we wouldn't intend to own and control every element of technology. There's no way we could do that, and what we do already. But I think we believe that we absolutely need to have certain control of certain elements of that technology. At the moment, you mentioned Xaxis before, which has grown already for us to be quite a big business just in a few years now, with over 400 million of global billings and 300 people across the world. And that's just one example of where we control the technology, and we're building ever newer data management platforms behind. And I think we think to protect our clients' interests and ultimately our interests as well, we need to control those elements. But clearly we're working with Google and other partners with different technologies, and we have to have access to those other technologies. We need the right people to help advise our clients, because I think our role, our agency's role, is to help our clients navigate all this stuff, and it is more complicated than ever, it's more challenging than ever, it's more interesting than ever, but it's complicated. And we therefore need the right people who have the right technology to sort of protect interests, to add value to the process, but can access the right technology at the right time, rather than a situation where clients just interface directly with whether it's Google or Facebook or whoever, and sort of trust the system. That's our role, to prove to clients that we can add value in that area, because it is more tricky than ever to manage. But there's no doubt. I mean, Google's strong for a reason. They're very good at what they do, and I think that there will be Google technology. There are Google platforms that we use and will continue to use, and I think that's very important. But I do think, because our business has changed, and because now we're investing a lot more in technology than we used to, it's that's another advantage of scale, or even a necessity, I think, because we need to invest more and more in those areas. We probably will invest less in other areas in the future, as the business moves more and more in this direction.
Alfonso, are you able to invest in technology?
Very, very similar to what Dominic is saying. I mean, with a big difference. We define ourselves as technologically agnostic. I mean, we are investing, but not as much as other groups, because we would like to have the freedom to choose always the technology that we think is better for each moment. But we're investing is in people. People who really understand this technology and help us to serve the clients. And that's, I agree completely with Dominic, that's our role.
Yeah.
It's not to invest and to compete against Google in terms of technology, it's really to understand what the technology can bring us and how that can we deliver to the clients. If we invest in technology and we invest in people, there's two strategies that perfectly can be for each group.
Okay.
I'll just add, Arif, the same thing, which is that from our point of view, we're not agnostic about technology, obviously, but what we genuinely believe that for the agencies to succeed, it doesn't matter what technology they take, preferably ours, but if it speaks to it, if all parts of it are unified, then what we've seen from a recent Boston Consulting Group report is that across multiple countries, that those clients and agencies that you have a unified system will get 33% more effective use out of that system and do a better job ultimately for their business and their clients' business. And yet what we see is so many disparate pieces of kit within every agency that the inefficiencies mean that actually out of this report it says that only 1 in 5 days are productive, and 4 out of 5 days are basically doing dead-end reporting,
yeah,
some of which might be of value, but most isn't. And that's something
that's a byproduct of the industry's moving so fast, and there's so many people operating in the space and progressing different things at different times. I think
to some extent,
it's going to be very hard to standardise everything and say.
Well, it is, but ultimately, consolidation potentially leads to that opportunity to have a once and for all spring clean and go back to clients and say, actually, the reasons why you're using us, whether that be Havas,
which is great for the chosen few,
but
for those which fall by the wayside, it's actually killing competition, isn't it?
No, I think there's probably quite a few technology providers in this room that reckon they can probably start to compete on certain areas. So
yeah,
again,
but not everyone can be a winner if we're choosing one piece of tech to run through. Anyway, there was a question over here.
Hi.
Hi.
So we're one of those technology
Sorry, can we say name and...
My name is Alpesh Doshi, I'm from Fintricity. It's really interesting to hear you guys talk about data and technology. And from our work with media agencies, what we found is the challenge really is in the agencies is the immaturity and the lack of depth of understanding of what technology can do. So, we've been working with a board of a very large media agency who compete with you guys. And we've just been doing some work around understanding their data and architecture. I'm not trying to sell us, I'm just trying to give you a picture of what we've been doing, what we're hearing. What I'd like to ask you guys is, there's lots of talk at the board level of, we need to do this. But actually what we've seen is very lack of actually strategy and detailed understanding of how to do it. We know from a history of your spend, Havas, on on trying to do this and spending millions and not getting anywhere. So my question is, yeah, everybody knows we've got to do it, and everybody knows it's technology, and everybody knows that data is going to be valuable. But actually, the question more is the immaturity and depth of understanding on how to do it and how much effort it's going to take to do it, which I don't see. So my question is,
what's
have
the
you
question?
got that in your organisation to try to figure that out?
I mean, I'm happy to take that. Certainly
Yeah.
at our level, it's not just at a management level that we're discussing it and talking about it. I mean, probably a big part of our strategy at the moment is around this specific area, and a lot of our time is spent on that, not just at a senior level, but lower down. You know, we're relying very much on the people at the coalface to guide this. And I think we've just had a small management meeting the last couple of days. We had a big session around exactly this, around the whole how we're going to deal with real-time data technology in the digital environment. We've just agreed to train 2,000 people in the next few months around what we're doing in this area, not all of which is public, but it's around aligning platforms internally and being able to move faster. But I'd agree that, look, some of these areas are relatively specialist.
There's 2,000 people you're training.
But
is that a course?
This is across our business in Europe. But it's just one example, I guess, of something very live where I recognise we would need to move faster. I think some of the areas we're talking about are still relatively small in the context of our total business. So relatively few people. Compared to, say, 10,000 that we have across Europe, 10,000 people and 25,000 globally. So, but we're trying to go much faster, and I think it's getting a lot of prioritization within the business because we actually see quite a big opportunity around here. A lot of challenges, but a massive opportunity. And I think our business needs to be quite different in the future. We haven't really come back to that, but I think we're talking about it today. You know, we still have a huge amount of investment in other areas of the business, not just in digital. Digital's getting much bigger, but we're planning for the day when we're a fully digital business, in a fully digital environment, and that's quite a challenge, but it's fascinating. So I think, we can't go, it's almost impossible to go fast enough because we need to go faster and faster. And I think one of the challenges in our business is, not just bringing people in, but training a lot of the people we have to be much more up to speed on this stuff.
Mm.
I would say that that will always happen when an expert talks to someone who is in the. It's always at this difference of perception, and I always say that when I talk with technological people, it's like they are talking another language, and I have to learn another language every 3 months, and that's getting tired. But beside this joke, I mean, we have changed completely the organization in the last 8 months to try to be able to catalyze and be much faster in this type of implementations. And we have changed the organization, we have changed the people. I hope that we meet in a few months, you could see that we are much faster and really changing or what we are saying. It really you can perceive it when you talk to our people. But yes, it's difficult sometimes to arrive at the same speed we do, and with as Dominic, we would love to go much faster, but sometimes you can't.
Yeah, easier said than done. Do we have any? Sure.
You move faster. The point is, investment. To make this happen, you need investment.
Yeah.
Not just technology investment, but operating model architecture investment.
Yeah, but sometimes.
You guys committing investment.
Yeah, but sometimes the people who have to decide investment, it's difficult to understand what it's the investment about. That's slow.
Okay, and any other questions? Yeah.
Sorry, as leading organisations, you have a responsibility to maintain your workforce being in the front edge of technology. How are you enabling your employees to do the research required to be informed as well as getting their day jobs done?
It's a good question. How are you enabling people to be informed? Do you want to start, Dominic?
Yeah, look, lots of different ways around the business. I mean, I think that at the moment we're just rolling out an e-learning platform across the business to, I think our challenge again is that there's so many people, it's not just the specialists who need training and to be enabled to learn more, it's actually probably even more the rest of the business as we try and really digitize the whole business. So I think trying to open things up and, you know, obviously use e-learning platforms and things like that. We've got all sorts of initiatives going on, so that's just one example. I think it is, again, about how you empower people generally within your business to kind of grow within the business, and part of that is learning more now than probably ever before. So we're trying as well to encourage people to move around the business so that we are bringing people with perhaps different media knowledge into more digital roles who perhaps aren't digital natives. And I think that, again, in our business, given that, as Mark said, one of the challenges is trying to operate across, for the sake of another expression, online and offline. And so just having digital natives who maybe have, you know, more specialized focus rather than people who come from another background, you know, again, we're just trying to get, I guess, more diversity in the business and make sure everyone has the right skill sets for the future. If people want to adapt, then you need people who want to adapt and who want to learn and grow. But I guess a lot of different initiatives, some being international, because we're a very global organization, and some being local, because at the end of the day, people are on the ground in local markets, different languages, etc. So, you know, we don't have these sort of sexy ideas that Google used to talk about of people have 20% of their time to do what they like and invest in new projects, but I think we are encouraging people and giving them more tools to be able to learn themselves, I guess, and to take knowledge from around the organisation and invest time in other projects that we know will develop for the future, but it's not as structured as saying it's one day a week.
You've stolen Mark's line.
Well, you've stolen my line. Actually, I've got two ways of answering that question, actually, from a Google point of view, which is actually, taking Dominic's point of view, we still do have this 70, 20, 10, and then 1, doesn't quite add up, culture, which is 70% based in doing your day job, 20%, and it's mostly for engineering, but it does apply to, you know, all areas of our business, including, you know, sales and marketing. 20% of your time is to spend on project, can be spent on projects that have a strong alignment to your day job, but not uniquely. And 10% of your time in engineering, especially, can be spent on any sort of project that will be able to run at a pace and scale if successful, but there's a lot of risk investment thrown into it. The 1% is about donating time to philanthropic time. So from a Google point of view, we train, even within sales and marketing, we have 24 hours of training for every member of the staff on a quarterly basis. And it's almost mandatory, so that you have to learn stuff. But actually, I'd like to answer it in another way, which is, over the last 2 years, we created a program called Squared. And Squared is a program over 2 years where we're taking groups of agencies, both specialist media agency, creative agencies, and now we've run a Squared for clients as well. And we take 30, 40, up to sort of 60 people 4 times a year. And over a 6-week period, we give them a really in-depth, and it's the under 3-year-olds, basically, in the industry, and it tends to be the talent within the agencies. Group EMEA, big supporter, Havas, a big supporter, all the big agencies and all the independent agencies are big supporters. And we really build learning and skills and advocacy so that they become the leaders of tomorrow, but they also become the guys that, as one of the earlier questions was, can challenge the leadership to become digital advocates themselves. A deep understanding of digital, not just Google product, but the whole of the digital landscape. We launched that last year. We've put a massive investment into it over the last 2 years. It will continue. Now has its own little premises on Tottenham Court Road, and we launched just last quarter, Squared Online, so that anyone in this room can be part of the Squared online training program through the Home Learning College. And you know, there are grants and there are bursaries to get people throughout the industry, especially new graduates who want to get into this industry but can't get into it, to go onto the Squared online training program, and out of that come with something that ultimately we would like then to auction them to the big agencies. So from our point of view, we actually believe that talent is still a massive problem. There's a real dearth of it, and we need to just build it at speed, and that's something we're investing in.
Yeah, something I think we all recognise that you guys lead the way on, actually, so all power to you. Alfonso, how about Havas when it comes to talent development?
No, I mean, if in one subject, even though we have the e-learning platform and we have plenty of training programs for the people, and we have integrated as Arif was saying, with the new organization, we have simplified and we have integrated all the different teams, so we will have a different of traditional media and digital media. We are all together. If one aspect I'm never satisfied, is because there's not enough coaching. We have plenty of coaching, but I think that people should be there should be much more. But sometimes it's not the resources that we put in front of them, it's that people takes time really to take those programs. But it's something that it's continuously we're pushing to make sure that, that the people that were in the traditional media cross the bridge to the digital, because if not, they will not be able to be in this industry. And those ones that are part of the digital natives, they have to continuously be updated, because if not, they are completely lost, as what I said before, learning continuously new languages. So it's something that we are pushing, but never satisfied.
Right. Any more questions? Anyone here?
Hi. Hello. The media industry is generally considered to be highly acquisitive. Now, given the resources big companies like yourselves already have, how do you, why do you acquire so many smaller companies? And how do you decide between acquiring or building the technology in-house, especially when you've got all these engineers doing everything you do? Yeah.
We normally don't acquire. We like and we have a much more entrepreneurial spirit, and we like to startups. I mean, not only in the digital world, but also in the last 13 years, maybe we have opened 80, 90 different operations. We have gone from 10 countries to 50 countries. In just one case, we have done an acquisition. Normally, we like to do startups. In some special case, some complement we do, but that's really to complement a market, to complement an operation. Normally, we prefer to do startups.
Yeah, we'll look at the situation. I mean, certainly as Group M, we have acquired some technology companies. So, with tech companies, then it would be very specifically around some technology to speed up our progress in a certain area. And obviously talent with that, because as we said before, without that, really, you're not buying much for the future. I think around the rest of our more client service-driven business, it really depends on the market and the talent that we're trying to get. I mean, usually it is about the people, and whether it's easier, frankly, to get the right people by just hiring them, and sort of growing our business in that way, or acquiring a company. And it's really been a mixture of the two. And actually, we've done in Europe relatively few acquisitions more recently, and we've been more about building organically. But it's really difficult to generalize. We'll just weigh up the situation, and often now it is more about speed, getting the right people quickly into the business where they can make a difference. And it's more around actually finding people who are compatible. I think it's more important that the last thing we want to do is do an acquisition for the sake of it. You get some technology or whatever, but 3 years later you've probably got nothing, because if the people have gone, you've got thin air. So it's more about finding the right people for the future who will fit in our organisation.
It's interesting. I mean, we were talking beforehand, and we're well aware that there will be some companies at AdTech whose game is to have an earn-out and hopefully to be bought by a WPP or by Google or by another big company. And I know it's not Mark's remit at Google, but I mean, do you have? I mean, how do you go about finding the talent and the companies which are interested in your company? I know it's not what you do specifically.
It's not, but from a corporate point of view, one thing that Larry Page has done since he took over as CEO last year is really consolidate the business. There was a point where Google was literally trying to do everything, build everything, have its finger in every single pie within Mountain View or within the offices around the world.
Yeah.
And one thing that Larry has done is to consolidate our business so much so that actually it's great for whether it be in Silicon Valley, actually in Israel or in Russia or here in the UK, for small tech companies and startups to be unique. Whether or not, therefore, it's unique, that Google will go, that's so unique and that code is brilliant, and as Dominic quite rightly says, truly compatible with the way that our organisation has been built, and therefore there may be an acquisition, and we've acquired businesses all around the world. But the point now is we don't now believe that we can do everything to perfection, or to where Google would like it to be. So we really are investing through Campus in the UK in enabling startups to thrive through creating the wherewithal for small businesses, whether it be marketing, whether it be technology companies, to meet each other and to thrive through that knowledge sharing. And I think sort of what we're doing in Campus in the UK is a program now that's been so successful that it will be rolling out into many other markets in the UK. So we actually believe in trying to stimulate, I guess, many companies like that we have here. I'd be interested to know if there's anybody that's used Campus in this room already. Yeah, so one of the questions. So and is it a resource that's been valuable to you? Is it a resource that's been valuable to growing a business? Yeah. So yes was the answer, by the way.
So Google doesn't believe it can do everything to perfection. You heard it here first. Great. Any other questions? Quick questions before we've probably got time for two more. No? Okay, great. It just leaves me to thank our three special guests, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.